What's your favorite science fiction movie? Once again, I don't have one favorite science fiction movie. There are so many. And within science fiction movies, there are subgenres. There's science fiction horror, there is hard science fiction, there's fantasy science fiction, there is sci-fi comedy. For example, one of my favorite movies is Mars Attacks. You should watch it. A great comedy, science fiction comedy. Another really wacky movie is The Fifth Element. Bruce Willis, Mila Jovovich, etc. Very funny movie. Hard science fiction. mm, the book that I mentioned from Arthur C. Clarke, 2001: A Space Odyssey, that was turned into a movie by Stanley Kubrick. That's a great movie. Then Alien. I think it may Alien, the original Alien from 1979 or something. That may well be perhaps the first science fiction movie I watched as a little kid. And a little kid should never watch a movie like that. It was frightening. Alien, the original Alien, with what's her name? The lady who was in Avatar, another science fiction movie. I forget her name. I forget names, but she did a great job. She's the last survivor with the cat, right, in the movie. And then there's the follow up, Aliens. So the first two or three movies in the Alien series were fantastic. Nowadays they're coming up with ridiculous nonsense. Then the Star Wars movies. So Star Wars, the first Star Wars movie, which came out in whatever year, 79 or whatever. That's another of the first science fiction movies I watched. I was a little kid. And when I saw this thing on the big screen, I thought Chewbacca was a gorilla. So Star Wars, Star Trek, it's not exactly a movie, it's a series on TV, but that Contact by Carl Sagan, that I watched. I watched it in the early 2000s, but I read the book in the mid 1990s. And it's so funny that when you read a book, you imagine the characters and what's happening, right? And I somehow the protagonist in Contact is a lady. I forget the name of the character, but I imagined that character as Jodie Foster. And eventually, when the movie was made, that character was Jodie Foster in the movie. So that was so. Yeah, that was interesting. Then Matrix, one of the great movies. Not the second and third one, the first one, Matrix. Terminator 2, Judgment Day, wonderful movies. Total Recall, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Event Horizon, science fiction horror. Blade Runner, wonderful atmospheric movie from the 1980s. Then you have The Planet of the Apes from the 1960s, I believe. Charlton Heston was there. Then The Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, a more recent movie with the main character is Caesar, right? The ape. Then The Martian that I mentioned in the book section, Andy Weir, that's a great movie also. Avatar I mentioned, very nice movie. Predator from the 1980s, Arnold Schwarzenegger again. A movie by John Carpenter, The Thing. Fantastic movie. Science fiction horror once again. Then Spielberg, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Then there's a movie, science fiction horror, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Another science fiction horror movie, The Fly. Then there's alien science fiction, Enemy Mine. There's a movie featuring Will Smith, Independence Day. There is a rather fantastical movie called Armageddon with Bruce Willis, in which you're in space but you can still walk as if you have gravity. There is that. There was Edge of Tomorrow. Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise, yes. There was, I can remember other movies like District 9, Jurassic Park is great. The Abyss, about aliens underwater, under the oceans. There's a movie called Ex Machina about artificial intelligence and AI enabled robots. Interstellar, great movie, wonderful movie. And I could also give an honorable mention, The X Files, which is not a movie, but it's a series. I used to watch it as a kid, as a teenager. Mulder and Scully, that was good. So that's once again another haphazard, random bunch of recommendations of science fiction movies. I'm sure I can think of many more. That also could be another 1 hour video, but I'll stop over here.